I want to bring in CBS News political director Steve Chaggaris, who's on the phone and I believe on a train to Washington. So if the signal is spotty, bear with us. Steve, first, we heard there Schiff, a Democrat, calling for Comey to testify. Any reaction from Republicans on that point?
You've heard Senator Lindsey Graham say that he's invited Comey to come and testify as well, and I wouldn't be surprised if you start hearing others say that. I think this development is going to be, I think, the catalyst for more and more calls for Comey to come up and testify publicly on this, because I think, frankly, Republicans especially want to get to the bottom of this memo.
Steve, I want to ask you the big, put on your historian hat here and tell us, if you could, when the last time we saw this level of interference in an investigation from a White House? Is it the Nixon era? Is it a different era? Fill us in here.
Yeah, the historian hat. Let's see. I mean, I would guess the Nixon era. I can't think of anything to this level, but we don't know if this is obstruction of justice. You heard Schiff, who, by the way, is one of Trump's biggest critics on Capitol Hill. He wouldn't even go so far to telling Nancy Cordes that this was obstruction of justice. So I think we should be careful in suggesting this is an obstruction. All we know is it is a memo.
Steve, I want to go to one final question. It involves an organization that did not show much restraint in characterizing the situation, and that would be the Make America Great Again campaign, which sent out a fundraising letter saying people within our own unelected bureaucracy want to sabotage President Trump and our entire America First movement. Based on what you're hearing from your sources, is that true? Are people trying to sabotage President Trump?
Well, that's one of his calls to his base. Are we trying to sabotage him, or are we just reporting the news? I think we're reporting the news. Mm-hmm. However, in terms of fundraising, in terms of scoring political points with his base, this is a mantra that he has repeated over recent weeks, and it's something that basically it's low-hanging fruit for Trump to say this in order to rile up his base. And at a point when his back's against the wall, at a point when his approval ratings are suffering, what better way to get your base riled up than to dump on the news media? And so that's what's going on here. And it's interesting because people like to throw the term Nixonian around with Trump, and this was going on during Watergate. What would do? Blame the media. We saw this. We saw this throughout recent history when politicians, especially Republicans, their base loves to hate the media. So this is something I think that Trump is sort of leaning on to get his base riled up at a time when I think he needs support.
All right, Steve Chaggaris, I'm going to go ahead and make a prediction right here. You've heard it here first. The phrase unelected bureaucracy, that is going to echo in the hallways of history for decades to come. That's my prediction. We shall see if it's true. Steve Chaggaris on the train to Washington. Steve, thank you.
Thanks, Tony.